Good morning, everybody. Today we are talking about, on this episode of Drew's Book Reviews, about The Tower of Swallow by Andrzej Sapowski from the Witcher book series. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts on this book from The Witcher, stay tuned. Alright, good morning and welcome to Drew's Book Reviews. Today is another Witcher book review. So we're going to be talking about The Witcher number 4, The Tower of Swallow by Andrzej Sapowski. So, many of you have probably already know about the Netflix series. I know there's a video game series based off of the Witcher book series. So this is the 4th book in that series. Now, just kind of give you an idea what The Witcher's all about. It's basically a fairy tale style story, or rather fairy tale fantasy, dark fantasy, absolutely, very much dark fairy tale type thing, not like a Disney version of fairy tales. Definitely it's got the dark fairy tale fantasy type vibe to it. So The Witcher, his name is Geralt of Rivia. So check it out, Geralt of Rivia. If you haven't watched the TV show, definitely really good TV show. I really liked the first season anyway, and I'm really looking forward to the second season of The Witcher. So Geralt, being a Witcher, basically what he does is he is a monster hunter. So he is kind of like this magically enhanced superhuman who goes around fighting and killing monsters that threaten humanity. He's hired out by people in villages and towns, so he does this for a living. He's a monster killer for hire, essentially. Now, if you haven't read the other Witcher books, definitely I'd recommend reading them first. I really kind of feel like this is a series you need to read in order, as each book doesn't really sit well as a standalone book within the greater series. It's not one of those series where you can read the 4th before reading the 1st. Kind of thing. So you want to make sure that you are reading the other books. I have done reviews on the other books. Check out the playlist on this channel for the Witcher book series, or Andrzej Sapowski, as I organized my playlist by author. But anywho, so The Tower of Swallows. Essentially, this story is about Ciri, or Princess Cirilla. So she of Sintra. She's from the nation or kingdom of Sintra, which was basically overrun and conquered by the Nilfgaardians. So she is on the run. She had escaped the siege of her home and eventually fled out into the world. Now, the Witcher Geralt and Ciri, Princess Cirilla, they have this magical bond, essentially. They're joined by destiny and fate. So she is on the run. This story is basically her story of her eventual being hunted down by those who are seeking to profit or gain from finding her, because the Emperor of Nilfgaard wants to marry her off to kind of end all, I guess, threat from the last remaining royalty of Sintra, so that he can secure the kingdom and have a Cintran wife, a princess, as a wife. So she has escaped, she's on the run, and she's being hunted and chased down by these people, and they are trying to kill her. She finds herself in this cabin. She stumbles across this cabin out in the middle of nowhere with a kindly old man who basically cares for her wounds and helps her. And the whole book is kind of set up that way. Right at the beginning, she gets saved by this old hermit or old man in the woods, and she is recounting her story to him. So the whole book itself is actually taken from different characters' viewpoints, but and one thing that I have to say that I didn't really like about it is the style, or it's jumping between different characters, which I don't mind that. That's cool. That works really well, depending on how it's written, of course. But the thing I really didn't like about it is that it is in the style of the characters recounting their version of their experiences and events throughout this story. So it's not that we're reading it as the story happens from the character's viewpoint, but rather we're hearing the characters tell their version of the story on how they perceive the story we happen after the fact. So for that kind of writing style, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. I didn't really enjoy that writing style all that much. I found that doing it, like when you're recounting a story, it seems to really, I guess, lack the emotional investment in a lot of ways and characterization that you would get from a character who are seeing things happen from their perspective in real time, that this is happening now. When you recount a story, the emotional aspect of it, or the characterization, the thought process, I guess they just don't come across as vivid. They don't come across as well done. And it's just not my writing style. I didn't really like that aspect of it. And to be honest, some parts of this book were pretty dry for me. They had some times where I found my attention wandering because it is kind of a dry read in some respect, but not in all respects. Like, I did enjoy it overall. I liked it overall. I wouldn't say it was terrible, but I wouldn't say that it's like, oh, amazing. So it's not a 4 or 5 star. I did put on Goodreads a 3-star for this because I did like it overall. I liked the story. I love the scene of Ciri in the arena, where she was basically forced to fight to prove her worth type of idea, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. In fact, that's probably my favorite scene in the entire book. And also right at the end, I really enjoyed the end. I'm not going to say what exactly happened at the end, but I will say that the ending of the book and where it leads eventually to the end, as Ciri finds the Tower of Swallow, where she finds it, and it really leads up really well to setting the stage for the next book in the series, The Lady of the Lake. We know what's going to happen in Lady of the Lake. Well, rather, we don't know what's going to happen, but we know why the next book is called Lady of the Lake. So that is coming up on my next review. Stay tuned. I will be reading Lady of the Lake. But overall, I have to say I did enjoy this book, and I am enjoying The Witcher overall, though it definitely doesn't rank in my top fantasy series. A 3 out of 5 stars from me. One of the other things I want to mention here is the book cover. I mean, it's a pretty cool cover. Absolutely. I like the cover. But the cover really, for me, just does not represent any aspect of the story very well. I mean, you've got Geralt of Rivia on the cover. He's the Witcher, of course. He's got a sword. He's in a burning town, which is, fine and great. But this story is really about Ciri and Princess Cirilla and her escape and eventual finding and getting to the Tower of Swallow. So this does, for me, just does not reflect the story very well, because it really wasn't about Geralt of Rivia. That's just my thoughts on that. But like I said, it sets it up really well for Lady of the Lake, and I'm really looking forward to reading that one, and hopefully it's better for me. I really hope so, because overall I'm really liking the Witcher series, and I think that it's a good, fun read in general. But this particular book, I'm going to have to give a 3 out of 5 stars. It just wasn't the best of the series, I guess, or certainly wasn't my favorite. But anyway, those are just some of my thoughts on The Witcher, The Tower of Swallow specifically. Don't forget to stay tuned, and we will see you next time on the next episode of Drew's Book Reviews. Until then, keep on reading. Bye.